Hello, everyone. Good evening to people joining from United States and good morning to people joining from India. On behalf of Om Sai Balaji Temple and North American Telugu Society, I would like to welcome you all to this wonderful event. It's a pleasure having you all join us tonight this weekend. Health is wealth, and 2020 has taught us that in a very hard way. So, this event is a small effort from all of us to promote healthy living for all your well being. So without any delays, I would like to kick off the show by welcoming Ramesh Tadwai Garu, the co-founder of Om Sri Sai Balaji Temple, to talk a few words.
Friends and well-wishers, this is Ramesh Tadwai, whoever you don't know me. I'm a co-founder of Om Sai Balaji Temple with God's grace. I'm welcoming everybody for this health and wellness event today, especially at this time of the pandemic. We just as you might be aware, we are actively working on, with the help of the God, a unique temple, which is a cultural center and unique temple in Monroe Township, which is the center of New Jersey, USA. And God has blessed us with the unique task and with all the help, guiding us to build a temple with all your help. With the grace of God, we have acquired about 12 acres of land at the intersection of Cranberry South River Road, which is very close to all the highways where major Indian population are. And we are building a 30,000 square foot temple at different stages. Right now, we are very soon to open the cultural center. That is the major event right now. It's not just the deities, we are doing all the deities like Lord Venkateshwara, which is the main, and Shiva Parivar, Sai Baba, Big Hanuman. Unique part of this temple is like a 25-foot square Hanuman temple, which is linking between the Sai Center and the other main temple, which will be coming in few years, hopefully. This is going to be just like an ancient temples in India, which is totally granite and which is the first and unique in USA. The goal is to cultivate the divine atmosphere to learn from the timeless knowledge present in all the sacred literature. Our temple objective is to propagate the faith of Sanatana Dharma, which is different, and heritage and culture, which will be preserved here. The rituals are also important, and also Sanatana Dharma provide us the way to live in the righteous way. We all experience how peaceful we feel after visiting the temple and chanting Hanuman Chalisa, especially this time of the Ramnavami, Natalu, Chalisa, and listening to Suprabhatam. There are so many events going on right now. And the most important part of the temple complex is the community and cultural center. That cultural center provides Vedic knowledge, which is a great gift given to humanity by our ancient rishis. Sai Center, which is part of our cultural center, will host bhajans on Thursdays with also important knowledge from wisdom from the children, from the Balavika school. And this is a 30 million, it's about a $20 million project. It's not something very easy can happen in overnight, but we are trying to do it with all your help. Our goal is to provide the knowledge to the young generation also, not just our generation, to make them better human beings. It's not just the rituals or pujas or whatsoever. Our aim is like Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Our motto is to serve the unprivileged by providing necessary help to the needy people, which could be in any way. It's not just the help of like a hunger or anything, because one of the cultural center asset is like it has a big kitchen which could cook about 4,000 people. That's our first part, which is going to be happen very soon. which will release the news and flyers and everything. And I hope and we all join to help us build with this temple with the shrines of all deities with the Lord Venkateshwara as a main deity. I request you to sponsor, donate, volunteer, and become part of this divine activity. This is a very, very rare opportunity to be given by God for all of us as a new temple. Once again, request every one of you to help, including the NATS authorization and everybody. And I would like to conclude this message thanking each and every one of you who are helping us with this divine activity. And our sincerest thanks to like all these Kitika Garu and Dr. Garu. And he's gonna take over after Kitika. Will let him in. I don't know if she's talking she'll take over the whole screen anyway. But at least I hopefully Dr. Garu and everybody else gonna help us to show us like what is the wealth. I mean, health is a wealth right now. Especially, all know like it's not just money is the wealth. When you don't have right health, you don't have even if you have millions of dollars, it doesn't mean anything. So I would encourage and hope that anybody come. We are all welcome to do any kind of volunteership, whatever the way you can do, including the donations, volunteership, technical help, anything. And you could take over, go into the website and everything, and help us out in any other way.
Thank you.
So for now, Kitika Garu, that's all yours.
Thank you, Ramesh Garu. It's very nice to know about the temple, its mission. And I know as part of our Sai cultural event, we have been conducting many activities related to arts, culture, health, education. And I myself joined this fabulous community, getting inspired by all the kids' activities the temple was organizing. So it's very nice to know. And I'm here to spread the word for you all. So before I call upon the next person, I would like to let the audience know that please post all your questions in the chat at the end of the webinar after Dr. Khadar Garu speaks. And we have a question and answer session where few of the questions will be picked up as time permits. And Dr. Khadar Garu, the Millet man of India, will answer your questions right on this session. And also we'll post a WhatsApp group and you can join that after this session. If you have any questions, Dr. Khadar Garu volunteers will help you answer your questions. So right now, I would like to call upon Prasad Arikatla Garu, chapter coordinator from North American Telugu Society, to talk about NATS and also set the stage for the man of the show, Dr. Khadar Garu. Welcome, Prasad Arikatla Garu, all over to you.
Thank you, Kitika Garu. Good evening, all from US, and good morning, everyone from India and other places. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I am Tampa Bay chapter coordinator from NATS. NATS is a North American Telugu Society, a non-profit organization especially meant for well-being of Telugus living in North America. We promote cultural, social, educational support and promote the culture and take care of any emergency management for Telugus living in North America. Having said that, we have a helpline. Anybody can reach us, helpline at natsworld.org, and also can call 1-888 for Telugu. With that, I would like to take this as pride for introducing Mr. Dr. Khadar Garu, Millet man of India. Dr. Khadar Garu is from Kadapa district, Praduturu, and then he studied his master's in Mysore, and then did his PhD in IISc Bangalore and went to US for his postdoctoral research and worked as a scientist. And he discovered the immunity system as part of his research and started thinking about Siridhanyalu, some of the 5 millets that he found, the great wealth in all these 5, how these can help the immunity system of the people. and started calling them as Siridhanyalu, and he wrote several books promoting the wealth, specifically talking about a lot of issues, and then introduced jungle farming, how to cultivate these Siridhanyalu and how to introduce this to the people in the right and the most efficient manner. So in his long journey in the last 20 plus years of doing so, he became a very crucial and important man of our life in everybody's day-to-day life, especially being health issues, addressing every health issue, right from corona to cancer to diabetes. He has a lot of solutions. And it's my great pleasure to introduce him and request him to take over and educate our members tonight. Sir, please take over from here.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's a great pleasure to see the temple background, and with all God's blessings, I hope human race will come out of this present difficulties that we are going through. And for all that, we all have to be healthy. Then comes wealth, as the person who was talking about the temple told me. That's great. So we all have to be healthy. And why are we talking about health? Because we are all missing it in the last 40, 50 years. All the so-called advanced countries are actually paying the price that they have actually havoc. They have caused the havoc on this planet due to their food and selection of the food materials and the way they are growing the food. All these things have started giving back the result. Fundamentally, we are today, I was supposed to be talking about sustainable health. See, attaining health is not a big thing, actually. It's simple. Any diet plan can bring you back to health if you are suffering from particular sickness. So there are a lot of diet plans over a period of time the human race has invented or discovered or cooked up or whatever you call it. The diet plans cannot be the way to have sustainable health. So there are two aspects. There are two huge aspects, huge dimensions of our existence. One is health, another is sustainability. See, how do we have sustainable health? That means, can all the human race live healthily all the time? Is the most very huge campus of different dimensions we are trying to deal with in this particular session. So why are we doing this? Because humans and other living things have to live on this planet in a particular way which befits the intelligence God has given us. And that is what we are actually been not doing all along the last, say, 50 to 80 years or so. The reason is that we are living in a bipolar world in its true sense. This word means lot, bipolar world. And we are looking at everything in a divide and looking at things. So, but in reality, things do not exist piecemeal. There is diversity all over the planet, but everything is connected. So we are all connected, including God. Including God is connected. It's not that he's somewhere sitting in temples or not there in any part of the planet or the universe. So he exists, and we call it Sarvantaryami. And so this basic concept, we all being one, to be kept always in the background. And that focus, when we lose and we start looking at each other, different problems start coming, including the food we grow, the food is consumed. It is all one. It's all one. Everything has happening in cycles. And to break it down, our comprehensions is actually creating the problem of duality or diversity. And if we are not aware that we are all one, then the problems multiply and we become what we are on this particular point of time on this planet. And we are thinking virus is different from us. Almost alwhere, every point of time there are viruses, and corona is not new, or H1N1 is not new, H5N1 is not new. It is just that we discover it and then we say it is new. So things have been there and they will be there, and it's going to continue to be like that. So it's all one thing that is happening in cycles. The same thing holds good to carbon cycle, water cycle, nitrogen cycle. All these things are all the diversity of one existence. And so let me just setting you up the background, the philosophical Tarkikamu, Tatvikamu and Telugu. So the logical and the philosophical issues of our existence is when we have this focus of not being one. Not being one is the essence or the basic reason why the causing of all these problems. So, and once we keep that in our mind, fix it strongly, then many of the problems disappear. This bipolar world is what is creating. So for everything, God and me, and you and me, Telugu and Kannada, or English and others, or Americans and others. See, all this, or water and earth. See, all these things are together. We all are together, connected to each other. I mean, what I'm trying to communicate is the wood, and we are connected. The soil, we are connected. Everything is connected, and it has to work as a unison to create a balanced condition. And it is the balance that we are losing. It is the balance that we are losing. So, for sustainable health, these two concepts. What is health? Health is not just not having any disease. See, the macro level and micro level. Everything is to be amalgamated and integrated. Only then this concept of sustainable health becomes clear to the people. Don't get confused. I'm talking different things. No, I'm talking only one thing. That is, how do we live happily, healthily on this God's planet that has been gifted to us. And rather, we are actually part of this great plan. And we are screwing it up in the last 50 to 80 years. The reason is very simple, that we are not having the focus of being oneness. And that is called non-duality. Sanatana Dharma, the person who talked about the temple has told that Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma basically means the non-duality, working through duality. So it is very confusing to start with for everyone. What is this non-duality, duality, working through duality, working through diversity? So it is through these various steps that we become one together. So this is the beauty and paradox of this existence. If there is no diversity, the concept of unity doesn't exist. So why do we have all these differences? Just to make you feel the greatness of oneness. And if there are no differences, there is no concept of being one. So you understand the duality, the diversity, and the oneness. So all these things are interdependent. You will see even the philosophical aspect, you need to have all these things amalgamated, integrated in a balance. So the oneness, the non-duality is actually manifesting itself into duality, and then the duality gets focused through the diversity. So all these things are very important. So people get, why am I like this? Why is he like that? Why is he rich? Why am I poor? See, all these questions are in the dimension of duality. And we need to get amalgamated, integrated and look into the non-duality in your mind, body, and the environment. And so this is the background, this is the philosophical approach that I have been uh, working up from my last 20, 40, I should say, I will say 40 years, but then the action plan has been rolling out in my life for the last 20, 25 years. So this is the background with which I have come. And because the background was presented with the beautiful temple and the introduction, the Sanatana Dharma came, I thought I will take this approach to introduce myself and my work in this fashion. So let's now get back to mundane details, and let's not break our heads in the higher dimensions of existence of diversity, duality, and non-duality. But ultimately, everything is in this dimension only, the non-duality. We all have to be non-dual. That means you have to have sustainable health on this planet. So we have been breaking all the cycles without any concern. And the first thing we have broken in the last 50, 60 years is the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle, which is actually the essence of life. Without carbon, there is no glucose, and without glucose, you cannot get energy. And it is the energy, dance of energy from the sun to the chemical energy of making glucose in the plants, and then that getting complicated into diversified food items that is being fed to different living things on this planet. And then we being one of the living things, trying to just completely take over this. And in the last 100 years, we have started slowly going away from natural process. And in the name of technology, in the name of science, in the name of advancement, in the name of progress, we have slowly and steadily, without recognizing, without understanding that we are going too much away from the non-duality concept. Forget about non-duality. We have even gone away from duality and then trying to divide us into part by part, and then create these problems. And then we are seeing viruses different from us. But viruses have been there. Even if you are completely a non-vegetarian person, or a completely a vegetarian person, or a completely omnivorous person, all these viruses are finding themselves one time or the other into your body. So when you drink milk, you are ingesting viruses. When you eat eggs, you are ingesting viruses. When you do not eat all these meat materials, when you are eating simple mirchi, green mirchi, you are ingesting bacteria. So we are all connected through microbes, viruses, and all kinds of living things. So this is what I keep telling people. We are all connected. So we need to take care of the health of everything to be sustainable. So what have you done? We have been in the last 50 years indiscriminately using chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides, and completely spoiled the subsoil. The subsoil actually should contain humus. Humus is made of carbon and other materials, which is basically a fibrous material which can keep absorbing water and nutrients to give it to the plants that grow, that make our food. So in the last 50 years, due to these modern agricultural techniques, to produce more food, or to produce monocultural food. That means all over the world, people are eating same food, same wheat, same rice, same soya bean, same sugar. And 4 or 5 plants we have chosen and started growing them in large quantities in the name of agricultural science, and made our whole food completely same all over the world. In Australia, in America, in India, everywhere, everyone is eating the same thing. Same thing, rice, wheat, soya bean, sugar, and then the byproducts thereof, growing meat. And even that, the higher dimension animals also have been completely monoculture. So the same meat is available in America, in India, in China, everywhere. Everything is becoming the same. And when things become same, when the diversity is lost, the diversified conditions have to be met with the diversified food materials. And this basic essence of food being diverse to feed different conditions, different time zones, people have to eat different things. And the normalization of food materials in the last 50 years in the name of agricultural science, in the name of corporate food culture, is the essence and the basic reason for all the diseases to happen. So you see the carbon material not being available in the subsoil, which we have broken. And don't look for sequential events here. This is all a cycle, vicious cycle we have fallen. So don't ask me where did this all start. It all started somewhere, which we do not know, where we cannot point finger at. This is a vicious cycle we are in. We have to break this and build a healthy cycle. So what did we do? Did we eat something wrong? No, we think everyone is eating right thing. We all feel that because we all seem to be okay. We all seem to be okay, but we are not okay, and we are finding it after some time. So this is all the confusions. This is the Maya that we get into when we do things. So we have to be figuring out what we are doing in a very clear, crystal clear manner. So the breaking of these big cycles in the macro level is causing the micro level problems. And actually corona is because of this kind of issues. So when we are eating same food, everyone is eating the same thing, the antigens presented in each and everyone's body becomes normalized, and other viruses, other bacteria can happily escape through you, through your immunity, and cause havoc. And that's what has happened. That's what has happened. And people who are not eating diversified foods, you can actually take the statistics. In the last 1 year, you have a lot of things that have happened. You will see that people who have eaten diversified foods and have got strong immunity are the ones who are not suffering more. So people who eat meat and similar same kind of meat, ingesting these, not having the diversified microbial gut microbes in the body, which is actually provided by various vegetables and fruits and grains in each and every part grown, is what is the basic platform to create health. And that aspect has been completely normalized for a bad situation. We need to come out of that. That means the diversified food materials that our ancestors were eating, not one grain, not two grains, 3, 4, 5, 6, 108 grains. Even today we can recognize that all over the world people were eating. And we have in the last 50 to 100 years, in the name of standardization, in the name of corporate food culture, basically to control the food. Few corporations have done this all over the world. And then great technology and advancement in sciences and all these scientists have not been informing the doctors, and then doctors in turn the people, that eating sugar is 50% of the reason why human race is suffering. And drinking milk is another 50% of the reason why human race is suffering. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is, if we stop producing sugar and milk on this planet, planet health will be all right 50%. That means if you stop sugar and milk production and consumption, the planet will rise itself in both conditions. So that we will start actually feeding the soil, subsoil, with the materials that are required to maintain its health. And then we will actually, by default, get the health. because at the macro level that gets better, micro level we get all right. So all the human race, please mark my words, only will be healthy and happy once we stop the production of milk and sugar. And then comes actually rice and wheat. These four materials, if we stop producing and allow diversified food items to establish themselves in different parts of the world, then the whole world becomes healthy. So this is the fundamental aspect of human health, that the diversified food materials grown in each and every part of the world have to be identified and learned to grow. And we have lost, sadly, because of this corporate industrial food culture, all the methods of growing various kinds of grains and materials, food materials on this planet, because we have normalized in the name of agricultural science. Build the dams, provide water, put fertilizers, add pesticides. And this is what has killed the subsoil of the planet. And that's what is actually is the main reason. 80% of carbonaceous humus has disappeared because of these practices on this planet. And that's what has actually caused, most importantly, the global warming. People are all talking different things, very small things about global warming. In fact, it is this 80%. It is not even growing trees. Growing trees is the second level. It's only 18 to 20% is the carbon material present in the growing plants. Even if our whole planet is filled with forests, it is only 18 to 21% the carbon material. So the remaining 80% is in fact in the subsoil. That's where the heat, the water, the energy, everything happens there with the microbes working for the whole living things to eat. So it is this microbial connections that we have lost. And the same thing has happened in the human body. When the baby is born, due to this so-called technological advances, we have been cutting open the tummies of the mothers and bringing the kids out in the name of convenience for whatever reasons. The natural birth, when the baby is born, the boy or girl comes through the vagina. When the vaginal entrance into this world comes, the mother lodges the microbes, the first immune giving wonderful prasada, I would call, to the baby coming out into this world. God's connection is connected through the microbes to the world. And that is what we are completely taking away when we do this so-called cesarean birth. So that's where the problems begin. You do not have the connection to the nature outside world. And they are very important because they set the background. They set the background for the baby's health. And that we are taking away. And our next most bad and not bad, worst thing that has happened is artificial milk that we have created with hybrid varieties and the genetically modified varieties of cows, and producing 20 to 30 liters of milk for feeding the babies. We have been just stealing away the milk with machines, and in the name of technology, again, biotechnology, calling white revolution, and started feeding babies from the age of 2 months itself in America. In fact, that's when my story, rather my travel, rather my journey into this world of health began. When I first met in 1986 or 87, a girl menstruating at the age of 6 in Portland, Oregon, when I came there first. So how did this girl at the age of 6 manage to menstruate was my first question. And then I started working backwards to figure out that the whole food chain and the connections to producing the food, everything is screwed up. And that's where we are dealing with all our problems. So unless we set these things right, you cannot get help. And this is the way we are meant to live, and we have screwed up. And of course, the Western countries have started the journey in that direction, and the whole planet is following. So if they are stupid, we are idiots. That is the problem. So wonderful grains were there on the planet everywhere. In fact, I can just quote one sentence. The Bible says Christ ate a grain which grows in 60 days, absorbing the moistures from the atmosphere. And that grain is what is now we have figured out is brown top millet. And brown top millet, for your information, America grows in large amounts, including in Colorado, tons and tons of it. But sadly, they feed it to the birds. They don't eat. See, the best grain that you have on this planet right now, known, is not being eaten by humans. And sadly, it is these birds that fill the cycle of making the subsoil humus rich. It is these birds that eat these grains, leave their droppings onto the soil, making the soil enriched with the carbon material. So it is in these humongous numbers these birds put back through their droppings the carbon material. In fact, this cycle is broken because we are using pesticides, fertilizers. You go any part of the world, the sugarcane fields, the so-called sugar estate, the rice fields, the wheat fields have not got a single bird dropping their drops. So now totally 41% of the agricultural land is occupied by these three: rice, wheat, sugar. So imagine this continues for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. We are just completely removing this wonderful subsoil structure and making everything drained, and completely desertification is happening. So in the last 15, 20 years, desertification of the agricultural land has taken place in large quantities, and that's why we are seeing the global warming. And once this is all cycles, as I told you, vicious cycle has begun. So the meat industry came along, and the viral infections started higher and higher, and people's immunity has fallen back. So what is the solution now? We all have to become simple food, which can just grow in short time. So get back to the original natural foods that can sustain natural cycles. So encourage the food that you eat should actually invite the birds to them. To do that, you need to grow food completely organic. It's not only the rice and the wheat and the sugarcane, even the fruits, the wine, the grapes, all the strawberries, everything is contaminated now with these chemicals that we have managed to kill all the honeybees that are actually required for production of food on this planet. Now 18% of honeybees are only left, I believe, right now, compared to 1900. So imagine our problems going into the future, that we think we can produce food. We will not be able to produce food. Even this artificial food, we will be in trouble because of global warming and not having honeybees to have the pollen being spread here and there. So many problems we have created in thinking that we are producing enormous amount of food in the form of milk, and that is meat, huge amounts of meat, and then wheat and rice. And to feed all these animals, we have got recently into soybean and corn culture. That's another biggest mistake we are doing. So you see the problems. we have to get back to the natural food productions. And to do that, we need to get back to the ancient grains that do not have all these troubles. So genetically, they can have a wide width of temperature ranges that they can grow anywhere. So all these points put together, we have to select our future food. In fact, it is not future, present, past. It should have been the same. You see, future, present, past is again our dividing the stuff. We are dividing the time into different zones. So what did we eat in the past? And we cannot divide, we have to divide to understand the whole thing. So that's what I keep telling, that there is a divide, there is a unification. This also has to be a cycle. So we have to be always in this uncertain mind. Shall we live in a divided world or unison world? You have to do both. You have to do both at the same time. You have to divide and understand, divide and see, but live in a unison. That's what is actually our Sanatana Dharma put it in very succinctly. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu. I mean, let anything born on this planet be sukha. Sukha is being comfortable, not making parties, rave parties. That is not sukha. Just, this is actually, I'm sitting in sukhasana. Just close your both legs and sit calmly. And that is sukha. Sukha is not enjoyment. It is actually a balanced state. Sukha is a balanced state. Dukha is not the opposite of sukha. It is actually a different layer. So there is a layers here. It is not just the duality. See, this is the problem with all of us. We have been presented since we are born, this and that, bad and good, this and, see, without bad, there is no good. Without good, there is no bad. So all these things exist together, and we have to train our minds to receive it as it is in an integrated fashion. So let's not think of bad and say, hey, why did God give us trouble? If there are no troubles, there is no enjoyment. So this is all intertwined. The same way, if there is no unhealth, there is no health. But then there is the balanced condition. Why I am trying to communicate this, sukha is not this or that. It is being balanced, and balanced is health. So to sit calmly, you need to be still in your system, the whole system. That means everything has to function proper. What is proper? That you need to be always happy at any given point. For that, there are a lot of biological cycles, physiological reactions that have to fall in place step by step every minute. And for that, we have recognized in our body, the most important thing is the microbial gut microbes that are very important, which sets the platform for all that physiological background, which produces vitamin B and many other corticosteroid balances happen because of the gut microbes. And we do not have the gut microbes, the health of gut microbes is lost. You will lose your balance of mind also. So mental illness is now directly connected to these gut microbes. So to produce the gut microbes and sustain them throughout your life, you need to invent or understand something that can keep this going, and that is ambali, fermented porridge. And the fermented porridge has been, by God's grace, the method of eating all over the planet. So in our so-called Western thought process, the whole fermented foods have been completely devastated. We boil, we cook, we bake, we kill everything. And we think in the name of hygiene, eliminating all the microbes. We are eating completely without any microbes. And hot coffee, hot things are very dangerous. It has to be a balanced temperature, very easy to smoothly going into your mouth. So that's why eating very cold, eating very hot is not the right thing. So now you understand the fermented porridge is actually was one of the foods that Christ ate. Again, unleavened bread and fermented porridge was the food materials that are mentioned. I'm just quoting the Bible because it is known all over the world. Of course, in Indian literature, I can go on quoting you hundreds of references about this. Ambali. Ambali is the fermented porridge which makes this happen. So once you have ambali of these wonderful grains, your microbial population in the tummy. In fact, that is the major cause of many of the problems in the world. Gastric problem, constipation, hemorrhoids, piles, all this host of IBS, Crohn's disease, leaky gut, all kinds of names for the diseases. But the essence of all these problems is simple solution to have your gut microbe health taken care of. See, a host of diseases that I just blabbered are all falling into this simple understanding of your gut microbes. So you have different porridges of fermented grains on a regular basis, at least weekly, twice or thrice. And I would rather have on a daily basis, at least once, 1 or 2 cups of this fermented porridge. See, this is the science of your food. This is the science of living. But what we are doing, we are only living by McDonald's chips or whatever, I don't know, finger chips, fried chips, and all that hot, something, boil them, roast them, bake them, kill everything, and then hot chips, hot things. And okay, you can eat that. I'm not saying you should not eat. For nutrition, you can feel this, you can eat that this way, that way. But you have to have this background, microbes. Microbes are the ones which connect us to the nature. And where do they get their energy? Being in us, being with us. But then for us, the problem with all this posture and Louis Pasteur, microbes are the ones that you have to kill them. So get the antibiotics. So even after the baby is born, for anything and everything, you find this microbe is the cause and start pumping in antibiotics. Whatever little microbes that are there, you are throwing them out. So you see 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids have the problem of leaky guts, IBS, Crohn's disease, hemorrhoids. In fact, I had just 10 days ago, one small baby, 3-year-old baby has hemorrhoids. Can you believe that? And the doctors are ready to operate and remove the part of the whole rectum. How sad it is. In the name of advanced technologies. The reason is this simple. So we told that mother, please change your food and give the baby ambali. Lo and behold, within 6 weeks, the baby is all right. Baby is all right. The baby is born in cesarean and given a lot of vaccines. And this havoc has happened. So the vaccines, now we are all struggling. Oh, this vaccine, that vaccine, corona vaccine, COVID shield vaccine, Sputnik vaccine, all these vaccines, what are they? Basically, you are trying to put a piece of genetic information. Now another new trend, mRNA vaccine. They are going to create more havoc. And these vaccines are going to create immunity strong for one particular strain or one whatever you have chosen. So the body is going to be filled with this one specific antibody. But we have so many other things coming in. So other diseases will reap havoc. So having vaccines is very unscientific, whatever vaccines they are. And these corporates spread all misinformation because they just want to sell their vaccines. It is so much so that the whole world is being sabotaged by this vaccine industry now. And you are going to be asked, if you take vaccine, you can do this. If you do not take vaccine, you cannot do this. That's the kind of situation we're going to be in because of greed of few people. You want health? Get back to natural ways of creating immunity, general immunity. It doesn't matter. Now, 23 different variants have come up with corona. What will you do because of those variants? Now, that's what is happening. People have taken 2 vaccines, again are corona positive, because the virus is not going to keep quiet. Huh? Do you think you are smart? They're smarter because they're smaller life cycle. They can manifest, mutate faster than you can do. That's what is happening. Our chief minister took vaccine. Again, he is having corona. He is admitted into hospital. So what's the proper point of taking vaccines? Creating all this havoc, unnecessary havoc to people. What did we need to do? We needed to do being healthy, sustainable health. It doesn't matter whether it is Corona 19 or Corona 99. You should be strong from within. For that, you need to take care of very small things, very small things. Vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D. Vitamin B is basically microbial health, which if you have good microbial health, vitamin B12 is produced without any problem. And can you believe that almost half the population on this planet are now deficient of vitamin B12 and vitamin D, which are the essence for maintaining your immunity. And these doctors and these scientists are going on blabbering about vaccine instead of saying, please maintain your B, C, D. A few tips. So go to the sun or eat dried mushrooms if you cannot get sun. And vitamin C is the most important thing everyone knows. From Linus Pauling has told long, long ago. That is lemon juice or orange juice or strawberry or gooseberry or mango or gongura, that is sour spinach. Anything that is sour will give you that vitamin C kind of activity in your body. Achar, that is our uppinikai, uragai, is good enough. So ambali, uragai and sun will see you through any virus. Any virus. And to create general immunity, we have come up in the last 20 years 7 different kinds of plant materials, leaves. Just have its decoction. They present your bone marrow where your immunity is built, different antigens. Then you have a wide variety, diversified antibody communities which can recognize and throw away any kind of pathogenic bacteria or virus when it reaches you. And that's the way you become immune strong. So simple. And you don't need to sell anything. You just have to give the information to the people all over the world. It can happen in a week's time with all the present day communication and information technology. And that's what we are trying to do, actually. Communicate this information so that you don't need, and you see the logistics of producing the vaccine and making it happen. It's impossible. They are calculating with all their high advanced technologies. It will take another 4 years or 5 years to vaccinate everyone on this planet. How scientific we are or how unscientific we are in choosing this path. And this is the sad story of unsustainable health practices. In fact, I call it sickness industry at its best. Creating more sickness, nothing more than that. So we need to shift back to the roots, to the nature, get back to the original intended food systems for our particular digestive tract, which is completely a herbivorous hardware. But we have started converting it into a omnivorous hardware. It will not change. And that's why we are suffering. So please get back to original food habit that is completely a herbivorous, that is vegetarian diet, which is suitable for our hardware of the digestive canal. And that's how we are designed, with a long intestine and having the dental structure. Everything is fit for vegetarian food. So if you can see the numbers, people who are dying, or most of them, are non-vegetarian people. And even vegetarian people who claim to be vegetarians are not vegetarians because they are drinking milk left and right, tons of it. So the milk is animal protein which can create havoc in your immune system. In fact, the autoimmune diseases are now more than 38% in the human race right now. That's because of milk. That's what I said. If you eliminate milk, we can close down 50% of hospitals in the world. 50% of hospitals can be closed down because you get back your health. So this simple analysis of what is food, what is to be done, has to be clearly understood by each and everyone. So we have been misled, misinformed by the present so-called sickness industry. I call it sickness industry. It is not health industry. However, they want to call themselves as health, health, what do you call it? They are calling themselves health. I don't like the word industry for health. It is not industry.
Healthcare
but
system.
They have made it in, healthcare system. Yeah, they call it healthcare system. I personally don't believe they are providing any help to anyone. In fact, it is the total wellness that we have to look at it. So the total wellness comes when you take care of the environment, the growing methods. See, all these are connected. That's what I'm trying to communicate to you. Say, how do I be healthy? If you ask me a simple question, it's not as simple as that. If I want to be healthy, I need to produce food properly. If I want to produce food properly, I should know what are the natural methods. And these are the connections that everyone has to understand. So it is the choices of your food materials that decide how to grow and what to grow. So, but now the whole world is choosing to eat rice, wheat, sugar, and milk. And that's where we are committing the biggest mistake on a grand level, macro level. So now each and every individual has to take it into his hands. In fact, health has to be in your hands. So you choose the right food to eat. So the demand for sugar, the demand for rice, the demand for wheat has to come down. So each and every geographical conditions, you need to produce your food and eat. Not in India, near Kadapa, Produtturu, small village, fellows are eating McDonald's. The same thing that you guys are eating in New Jersey. Same taste, same way, same brand, same way he has to hold. I love it. This fellow is also saying same. This is what is happening. And see, don't laugh at me. This is the most sad thing that has happened for a human race. So we need to produce food in our place. So we used to produce Arka, Kodo millet in Pedapaspula near Jamal Madu. Now no one knows that grain. No one knows that grain. And it is Arka, Ambali, that will give you within 6 weeks your immunity. Corona 19, Corona 90, Corona 3000. You can go to 3000 also. There will be Corona. It's not going to go away. It was there before also. It's just that these fellows have named it novel Corona. Novel Corona. See, everything is novel. It keeps mutating. You do something, it will not keep quiet. So that's not the path we need to take. We need to not worry about, it's actually another analogy I can give. The whole outside world is the dust. So I don't want dust to my feet. So I start covering the whole city with leather, the tanner. Instead of making chappal for your feet, you are doing this. This is what is vaccine program. You're trying to cover the whole city with the leather, trying to say that it has not true. It's not a blanket. It is each individual has to take it into his hand. So you better have your shoes. Then you can walk around anywhere. So you have to protect yourself, each individual. So it is not herd community, herd immunity and all. All that are all concepts the sickness industry is producing. The real thing is each one's immunity has to be in his hand or the food that goes into his mouth. And it is as simple as this: vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D. If you take care of this, your immunity is strong. So for that you need ambali, for that you need different decoctions that are found in your area, in your locality, which will easily and immediately, very happily provide you with the diversified antigens that your body requires to produce the immunity. And vitamin C, which is a sour material that I am sure every locality is, you can eat strawberry there, we will eat tamarind here, and somewhere someone can, in Mexico, they can eat the so-called avocado, vitamin C is there, and in Australia, they can eat what is called, there is a fruit which is very sour. In Malaysia, there is another, some dragon kind of fruit which is very sour. So God has given everywhere, every part, their requirements. No, everyone has to have orange. After McDonald's, everyone, you cut an orange piece and then put it on your liquor bottle, like that. In that. So everyone has to eat lemon, which is hybridized. This is the sad story of human race. So it is in the diversified food materials and the diversified food production. See, in Himalayas, kodo grows. You don't need to do anything. There's a lot of moisture. So it just absorbs and keeps growing. Only they need is sun. When the sun falls, the arka grows. That's why the name is called arka. And to keep the us intact, the inside, you need the fiber to maintain the glucose balance. And that's where these 5 wonderful grains come into picture. Arka has got 9% of fiber, dry fiber, and brown top 12.5%. And foxtail millet has got 8%. Barnyard millet has got 10%. And little millet has got 9.8%. And all these grains are found on different parts of different continents. In fact, little millet is known as African millet. Barnyard millet is known as German or Japanese millet. And kodo millet is actually known as Himalayan millet, Chinese. All these people were eating. And brown top millet, American millet, the whole American continent from Canada to near the Chile, I mean, South American tip, they were eating along with corn. And in fact, famous trio of American food is the corn, beans, and pumpkin. All 3 can grow together. And that's how they used to grow, the Red Indians. So we have made our production methods monoculture. Millions of hectares of rice, sugarcane, wheat, dump pesticides, fertilizers, kill all the microbes in the soil, burn all the carbon required for subsoil and microbes. So you create havoc in the subsoil in the name of producing food. The same thing you have done, dump antibiotics in your tummy. Eat milk, drink milk, paneer, eggs, laden with steroids and antibiotics. So whatever little microbes that are left in your gut, wipe it out. And then say, oh, you need antibiotics because pathogens are entering. Why not? You have no symbiotic, doing good for your body, microbes completely wiped out by your food habits and choices. And then you want to fill every year this shot, flu shot, this vaccine, that vaccine. See how sickening this whole processes are. So get back to the roots, get back to the integrated, complete wellness comes when you have things completely understood in an integrated fashion. So when people understand the basic essence of health being together, understanding things in its clarity, and providing all this part by part in your body. And that we have summarized it as glucose imbalance, microbial imbalance, and hormonal imbalance. So the milk that you are giving and feeding and eating is causing hormonal imbalance, and the gut microbe I have talked a lot about. And then glucose imbalance is actually the basis of all these problems, because the rice and the sugar and the wheat you are eating having no fiber at all, pumping glucose in enormous amounts into your blood. And now the blood is completely loaded with glucose within 15 to 20 minutes of your eating any of these foods in different forms. You eat sugar, rice, wheat. You can eat noodles, you can eat kulcha, you can eat paratha, you can eat whatever, pizza, whatever. In 15-20 minutes, you are pumping huge amounts of sugar into your blood. And then to maintain the balance of glucose in your blood, 5 grams totally at any given point of time, the liver, the pancreas, other endocrine glands overwork, emergency shifts, converting it into cholesterol, triglycerides, rheumatic factor, glycogen, fat, meat, everything is done on overnight, rather shift. It is working overnight and creating obesity, creating diabetes, creating blood pressure, creating heart blocks. Everything is because of glucose imbalance. And higher amount of sugar in your blood leads to pathological bacteria and viruses being invited into your system. And so you create gangrenous condition in your body. And then when you have a wound, when you have a small accident, your blood invites all kinds of infections. You reach, so you start amputating. And now we have amputation hospitals working 24 hours a day, removing the part by part. See, all this is unnecessary. So if you maintain glucose balance in your body, there will be no BP, no diabetes, no gangrenous conditions, nothing happens. What it means is that if you release your glucose into your blood in a slow and steady fashion, which these 5 wonderful grains do, we have done a lot of experiments and proven beyond doubt that these 5 grains are the best to release glucose slowly and steadily into your bloodstream. And that's what has happened. So a gangrenous patient, the diabetic patient to be amputated comes to our clinic. We feed them this porridge of little millet. Lo and behold, within 3 weeks, his wound got cleared. Not 1%, 2%, 3%, not hundreds, thousands and thousands get well. And now we have published all the information free all over the internet and Google. Everyone can download. And we have worked diligently and created protocols for different set of problems. Not that problems are different, actually. Problems are almost same. One of these 3 imbalances are combination of these 3. So if you go through the protocols very clearly, we have diversified food, materials, and diversified decoctions healing the body. So including HIV, cancerous conditions, many of these. And the system is not yet complete. We are still working at it and figuring out and updating things. And so I believe we have found a complete wellness plan for the future generations. So it's not that we are curing diseases. Curing diseases is the least important thing for me. How to be healthy and generating the information, and to be healthy not just for yourself, how do we sustain it not only for your lifetime, but for future generations altogether. So all these things are actually to be understood in a holistic way, the wellness, because the objective is Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavan. It's not just this generation, all things that will be born on this planet. That is what it means, Sarve Janaha. And we tend to misunderstand the word Janaha for people. Janaha is the one who has taken birth. That is, be it a plant, be it a virus, be it a bacteria, be it a whale. So, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. That is the most wonderful Ghosha Vakya, we call it in our literature. And that should be our aim. And with the background and backdrop of temple, I'm so pleased for this particular opportunity for all the organizers, especially Raju Chapadi and Prasad and Kirtana, and for everyone, all the elders, my pranams, and all the younger generations, my blessings. Thank you all. And we will have more and more exchange of information. And I have already provided the updated new books that we have brought out to Raju Chapadi, and I request him to share all the PDF with everyone. Thank you all, and please.
Doctor, we have a few minutes for a few questions.
Yeah,
People
please.
Vamshi garu, you can actually go ahead with the questions.
Sure, Andy. Just, maybe Kirtika garu, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for so much nice information. Now that we know the nutrition and health benefits of millets, and now that we know we have to cut down and sugar and rice and wheat, I'm going to surely do that as my regular wheat plan. Hope everyone here will do that too. So how many of you are going to cut down rice and sugar and start having foxtail, little millets and brown top millets? Raise your hands in the chat. And before we go to Q&A section, we have a small temple video to be played of Om Sri Sai Balaji Temple, which is coming up. The first phase, Sai Cultural Center, is coming up this summer. It's a 20,000 square feet, 2-story building. And the second phase, Balaji Mandir and 25 feet Hanuman Tower, first of its kind in New Jersey, is coming up in next few years. Vamsi garu, can you please play the video for us? And this will buy some time for audience to, if you have any more questions, please post your questions. After this 1-minute video, we'll have the Q&A session. Thank you, Vamsi garu. That was very nice video. I got the devotional vibes when I was seeing the music and video. Hope the same with you all. So let's get started with the Q&A, the most fun and interesting part. Let me see what questions do we have. Dr. Garu, I'm guessing you have few minutes for few questions. I'll just pick 4 or 5 generic questions.
Please.
Yep. I won't pick up any first.
Kirtika, before you ask a question, I have one question for Dr. Garu, which is very important actually. Dr. Garu, the question is, many people are asking that they read reports that they're getting clots after they take the vaccine. Is there any homeopathic remedies you can suggest for people? Because one of the reasons is like my daughter, she goes to a university, she's forced to take a vaccine because otherwise friends are not talking to her.
Yeah. I understand. There are two medicines that everyone can take, homeopathic medicines, which actually bring back you for a temporary, at least. Of course, you need to build the overall immunity in a long run with right food and right habits. Okay, but immediate problem can be solved by two medicines: Mancinella, Mancinella, Mancinella 200, and Tuja 200. These two medicines you can actually mix or take one in the morning and one in the evening.
How many days, doctor, after taking the vaccine? How many
4
days?
to 5 days.
4 to 5 days. Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. In half cup of water, dissolve 3 to 4 pills and take it. So most of the issues that you actually, I have almost every day 10 to 15 people coming problems after taking vaccine. So we are dealing with that, and 99.9% of people are getting better with this medicine.
Okay. Let's get started with the audience questions, Dr. Garu. So I'll take this first question. Is almond milk or oat milk good? Because now that you suggested not to go with regular white milk, cow milk. So
No, see, if you are getting almonds produced in your place, almond milk is good, oat milk is good, ragi milk is good. Or in America, you have pine nuts. So they are throwing tons and tons away into the ocean. Pine nut milk is fantastic for people in American continent.
Sure, thank
Pine
you.
nut milk is very tasty and very good.
Okay. Is curd or buttermilk okay to take?
Absolutely, no problem, because you are fermenting the milk and the non-vegetarian becomes vegetarian. What I'm trying to communicate is milk is non-vegetarian, buttermilk is vegetarian.
Okay. What foods are good to relieve severe acid reflux?
Yeah, if you stop rice, wheat, all sugary things, that right now Americans are eating, you people included. And you need to eat fibrous foods, especially the ambali of kodo millet and brown top millet. And there are few plants the decoctions that can reduce immediately. Any acacia, any legume plant, that is tamarind leaves decoction, or tangedu we call, that leaves decoction, or pongemia, kanuga leaf decoctions, they all will reduce reflux. And even methi seeds, fenugreek, that also gives you a lot of help. And just pure coconut water, yelaniru, we call tender coconut water, is also very good for you. All these things will reduce acid reflux. And drink ambali. Ambali, the porridge, fermented porridge, is very good, whose preparation and methods are all given in the book. Okay.
How often can we eat dried mushrooms? Can they be consumed daily?
Yeah, that depends on the availability, if you have got them. And basically, oyster mushrooms are the best, because other mushrooms available in the market are actually produced with a lot of chemicals, especially button mushrooms. So oyster mushrooms can be produced organically. Twice a week or thrice a week, you can have soup or curry or whatever you want.
Okay, let me take few more. Do you suggest mixing and matching, like few days millets, few days oats, few days quinoa, or it's like just
quinoa
go with
is
all
not
time?
a grain. Quinoa is not a grain. It is a pseudo grain. So I would not bother about quinoa. Yeah, oats a day. No, I always recommend, please keep changing every 2 days. Because you eat one meal oat, one meal foxtail, one meal, you don't get the wellness from each grain. So you want to eat at least 5 to 6 meals each grain. So you eat oat, make everything out of oats for 4 to 5 meals minimum. Okay.
Okay. Got
so
it.
you eat brown top millet, You make roti, you make porridge, you make idli, whatever you make 4 to 5 meals with brown top millet. Then shift to oats, then shift to foxtail, then shift to kodo, like that.
Got it. Got it.
And don't
So-
mix everything. Yeah, many people tend to use this mixed millets powder or multi-grain. Then you are losing the benefit from each and every grain, because nothing is enough quantity of the fiber or the nutrients. You are diluting it by other things. So multi-grain concept is not a scientific way of doing things. So eat each grain separately.
Got it. Got
But
it.
what happens is, in the world, in the business world, these flour mills and one ton of all mixed flour. So he will come up with this wonderful mix. So, but eating each grain separately is very important.
Sure. Thank you, sir. And let us take few more questions. If not consuming milk, then what food will be the source of calcium?
Oh, actually, all over the world, the source of calcium, if you just get back to history and read some literature, it is the sesame seed. The best source of calcium in the world is sesame seed, not milk. Not even other milks. Yeah, other milks are there. Not even 1/3 comes close. Ragi, finger millet milk has got 3 grams of calcium, whereas sesame seed has got 10 grams. It's incredibly different. So all over the world, every culture, every civilization has recognized that. So sesame seeds, in fact, if you go to Turkey, even now they call tahini or something they call. You go to Chinese, they sprinkle sesame seed on everything actually. So sesame seed has been the mainstay for calcium all over the world. And people have been made to forget this simple thing.
Yeah. Okay. So which millet is good for hypothyroidism?
All
And
the
what
5,
should
but
not?
little millet is the hormone imbalance. So little millet 3 days, and remaining all you need to eat one day.
We will share actually a booklet which was actually already given to us by Dr. Garu. So I think that book has all the protocols. So so people can reach to either Vamshi Garu or me or anybody. We will share the book. So that has all the protocols.
Sure. And now that you spoke about book, and I think we have many followers of Dr. Garu in this group, I want to ask audience a question. Anyone, can you guess any one book published by Dr. Garu? Let's see who guesses it first.
Daily routine.
Yep. Anyone else?
Siridhaniyalu.
Yeah, Siridhaniyalu. Yes.
The recent book is Siri Jagattu.
Siri Jagattu. Okay.
Siri Jagattu. Okay. So those questions which we couldn't answer now, there is a WhatsApp group shared in the chat. Please post your questions there. Dr. Garu's volunteer will answer that. And thank you so much for the valuable information on fitness. We got to know that it's not like we should eat less, we should eat right. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
so don't have diet plans.
No diet plans, no keto diet plans. And I believe that fitness is not about being better than someone else. Fitness is about being better than what you were yesterday. So after having this very good session, let's all try and plan to be more fit. Reduce intake of sugar, milk, or any white thing, rice, and get millets into your regular meal plan. So
question.
Yeah, one caution I want to tell at the end. Everyone has to understand that these millets have to be soaked well before you cook.
Yeah, how many hours, doctor? I think I saw that question in
6
the
to
chat.
8 hours. Yeah, 6 to
6
8
to
hours. And if it is brown top, you want to soak 2 more hours.
Okay. 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 I
Can we
heard.
eat brown stock millets available in US?
Of course, you can. No problem.
Doctor, normally what
They say
happens is
that is only for that is not for human consumption.
That's
Doctor,
what they write. That's what
but
they write.
they use they
But
say
no
In fact,
problem, right?
wheat is not for human consumption.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Doctor, what they mention on the brown top millets, what is available here is they use some kind of herbicide. That's what they mention on that. So not.
Sir, you put it in tamarind juice with the husk. You can wash it. After that, you remove the husk and then you can.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, audience. For any extra questions, please join the WhatsApp group. Dr. Garu's volunteers will answer all your questions. I would like to now call upon Mr. Prabhakar Sakumuri Garu for official vote of thanks. Before that, I would like to thank Vamsi Garu and Om Garu for giving me this opportunity tonight. Prabhakar Sakumuri Garu, all over to you.
Could you repeat those medicines which were suggested earlier, homeopathy medicines?
After vaccination, Mancinella and Tuja.
200 potency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's in the chat, Andy.
If you found corona positive, we have already mentioned it is arsenic album, bryonia, and camphor.
I think I will share it in the groups, Dr. Garu. Doctor has given me the thing. Even before corona, as a preventive measure, what need to be taken, and if you get corona, what need to be taken. If you take vaccine, what need to be taken. We'll publish in all the groups today.
Yeah, we have done this in 2019 November itself. Yeah.
That would be good, and Raj Garu.
No problem. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, sure. And
Sir, if we don't have homeopathy pills, like through food, what is the best?
Yeah, we have released a book called Corona Handbook. That is also available on the net.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Further,
Raju garu, మీ దగ్గర ఉంది కదా Corona Handbook?
Yeah, I have Corona Handbook, doctor. I will share it with all the people again. Yeah.
Yeah,
I keep sharing it. Yeah.
We'll probably need those PDF links. I'll reach out to you so that we can publish to our audience.
Yeah, I will share it with Vamshi Garu, so you can share it with all your temple groups.
Temple groups too. Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I'll do it tonight, actually.
Yeah, sure. And
Yeah. All right.
Sir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, could you please suggest a diet for the kids like 0 to 10 years or 15 years, because the maximum growth happened during that time, and as the kids cannot eat millets, could you please suggest that? Yeah.
I know we have a video, me and my daughter discussing about it for 20-30 minutes. So I cannot just give you in 1 minute, because it's such an important phase of growing kids. We have made a specific video for that. Please go through the videos. Millet Magic is the YouTube. You can find that.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right.
Good evening and good morning. Yeah. Dr. Khadar,
Prabhakar garu, your voice is breaking, Andy.
Yeah.
can you hear me okay now, or it's the same?
Yeah,
No, still breaking, Andy.
Okay, I think some issues. Somebody wants.
Yeah, Prasad garu, can you go ahead, Andy?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Khadar Garu. It's really a wonderful night, and we have learned a lot, and you inspired all of us, especially our members, on the importance and significance of sustainability of health, not only being health, and also the millets and enrichment and the foods that you suggested. It's really it's wonderful information for all of us to digest and follow. With that, we thank the Om Sai Balaji Temple founders and Vamshi Garu, Ramesh Garu, and Suryanarayan Raj Garu, and that side, our President Vishekar Ane and Chairman Garu, Rajesh, Murli Garu, Sudhir, Prashant, Guttukon Srinivas Garu, and all other volunteers, Prabhakar Garu, Murli Medchila Garu, for helping us to conduct this wonderful session. And special thanks to Raj Chabdi Garu as well. And with this, we would like to conclude tonight's webinar. Thank you so much for all of us staying so late. Thank you.
Just want to say thank you for Yo-Yo TV as well, Andy, because they are the ones who are actually live streaming the event today. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Garu. It was an honor sharing the stage with you all today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend.